Yeah, hi Naveen.
Yeah, morning, morning. Okay.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, I'm fine. So I hear okay, you got 5 years of experience with Power BI, right?
Yes.
Okay. And will you give me a brief on that side, what are the data sources you are used, and what are the data transformations you are used, and your experience into measures, tax expressions,
Okay.
or any other things you are specially done?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thanks for giving this opportunity. So I have a 5 years of experience. I've been working with a couple of years in the data warehousing, and then I worked for the Power BI after that. So coming to my project is the Optum RX. That is the healthcare domain. The client wants to need the process for their management decision in the Power BI reports. Like most of the times we are getting the mark is a kind of Excel and then PPT. So sometimes we received as a PPT is a all the story they will give as a user story, and then they will provide the what type of visuals and what type of slices and what type of filter and what type of bookmarks, all the story they will give as a user story. Based on that, then we will create as a user story in a Azure DevOps portal is an internal tool. Based on that, then we connected as a source. So we will complexity, what is the complexity of the task, and then we will have the data type, and then we check, and then we connect with the data type issue. So then once we have received the data, and then we connect as a, in the last project I have connected as a PostgreSQL, that is a database, and then direct mode. So in the direct mode, so we haven't much more work in that Power Query editor, but in the earlier, then I have worked with the CSV files and then Excel files. Though there, most of the times we haven't received the clean data, and then we have received only the unstructured data, where we need to clean the data in the Power Query editor, which we use the some of the transformations like append and merge, and then duplicate table and the reference table, and then custom columns, and then parameters. So both those the depends on the requirement. So once we have cleaned the data in the Power Query editor, we push the data into the Power BI desktop, where we create the some model, and then if it is a data type, column name is the same, it should be automatically create the relationships. If not, then we need to create the based on the requirement, then we need to give the relationships. So once we have done this one, then we need to start the visualization in the reports in the visual panel in the Power BI desktop. So need to start the report. I have developed the 4 page report in the one report, and then another report is a 3 pages report. Like that, we have prepared the 4 reports, and then based on the reports, then which slicer, the country slicer or the patient slicer, and then the hospital wise slicers, and then there are the some slicers we put based on the filter easily slice and dice user. And then we put the how many patients, how many beds are there with the cards visual, then we use, and then we mention the card visual in the each hospital wise, and each like ICU, and then different types of coordinates wide, then we use the cards visual. So after that, then we give the bookmarks. In the bookmark, then we have to the page selection, and then page navigation from one visual to the another visual. So from there, we can we easily navigate to the each one page to another page, like it is a outpatient in the inpatient report, and then it's the total patients report, and then it's the detailed of the hospital of the list. There are the 4 reports. So after that, we need to deploy into the Power BI service by using the publish. Then once we deploy it into the development workspace, our manager will review the report, and if there are any changes, if there are any bloggers, either is there any modification, they need to inform me. Then again, accordingly, then we need to change the report, and again we deploy into the deployment dev workspace. So here we have some of the best practices. Every time we should not delete the report, because of the report path will change the same name, then we should replace the report in the Power BI service. And then if the parameter, is there any parameter we created, and the data type should be the text. So there are the best practices we have followed. So once we have done this one, then we need to deploy into the from dev workspace to the UAT environment. So there the QA test will test, and then they will review the report accordingly. They have any changes, or is there any modifications in the QA, then if there are any bugs, then they will intimate again to me, then we need to accordingly modify the report, and we deploy into the deployment pipelines. Once we deploy it in the pipeline, then admin team will take the action, and once the QA successful deployment, then we will release into the prod. In the prod, if the report will be running, and then the admin team will give the access to the end user. Actually, there is license not required to these reports shared through the app is one of the best option to share the report to the end user. So this is like we develop the report in the my current project,
Okay, you said
Rajesh.
about report sharing through apps. I mean, so what apps you are
The
using
reports in
here?
the Power BI apps, in the Power BI service, we have an app and option is there that we create the app, and then those reports, what are the 4 pages reports, then they will link it that one 4 pages, and they will share the path to the user. So user
Okay,
easily see when we open the app.
okay. And so if you're coming to the data transformation, suppose like we are getting some kind of data
Hmm.
in such a way that suppose you have a product table, okay,
Okay.
and in that product table you have a store name column, a
Okay.
store names column,
Okay.
okay.
Hmm.
So store names means what are the store this particular product is available.
Yes.
So that is a multiple values are there. So comma separated
Yes.
multiple
Yes.
values.
Yes.
Okay. So
Hmm.
my problem here is I want to build a report, but I want a filter based on these store names.
Okay.
So if I select a store, I want to display only the products available in that store. But in my data source, I have like a field, and field is having multiple store names.
Okay.
So that's why it get repeated.
Okay.
So for each product.
Okay.
So how we can make this filter available?
So in the Power BI transformation, so we need to split the data. So by using the, if it is a data delimiter, something comma or something spaces, then we need to split the data as a whatever we require. Then only we take that field in the particular column, and the remaining are we will separate. And then after separation, then we with the name of the column name, there like product name. Then we need to push it to the Power BI desktop. So where we like creating the data.
Okay. So if you split based on the store names, so that you end up with duplicating the product names in your result table, right?
Yes.
Because if you have a product called product one available in three stores, so if you split it, your one row in the result will be like a one row to three rows, right?
Yes.
So in that case, like in an end user point of view, like suppose here there is a searching for all stores and all products. So how we can avoid duplicates in the result?
So when we go in the like particular column and then we remove the duplicates, then only we will get the like unique values. In the option is there in the duplicate na in the Power Core editor. So
The problem here is the entire row is not a duplicate, right? Your store name is different, right?
mm,
So because we split it,
yes, yes, we split it.
so you have a store name different, but remaining everything is the same. And so the problem, there is no problem like if you filter for a store name, so you get the proper data because each store one product available. But if I go for all stores,
Hmm.
the result is having lots of product duplicated because if I have a product in 10 stores, a product name get displayed 10 times.
Okay. Yeah.
So how we avoid that case? So what I need here is in that case, we want to display the product result in the original way. Means product once, and in the brand name, store name column, we will have multiple values, something like that. So because otherwise, like end user will not be satisfied.
Okay. So the time we need to some analysis we work around along with, because of then we split the data again. We need to, after splitting, if there anything else or something duplicate, then we remove that one. After that again we concatenate data into this in the two columns, and then we merge it if it is a possibility. Then if what are the rows are same duplicates are thing, then we time that time then we need to merge. Otherwise we need to some append these two columns into like two columns we need to merge. I think we will see the data, then we understand. But this is the 2 3 ways to do when we understand somewhat workaround we will be do in the Power Query.
Okay.
It might.
So
ల్యాప్టాప్ కనెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటారా?
so Santosh, like you are not muted.
వచ్చా సరే నా ప్లేస్ లో క్యాబిన్.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Santosh, will you mute once? Have you got any experience with working with multiple data cubes or measures, reusable measures or anything? Dynamic measures?
No, I haven't a chance work with like data cubes and all those, but only then we work with the source data sources like connectivity database in the SQL and then Postgres SQL, CSV and then other multiple Azure.
Yes, yes, sir. That don't make much differences because once you connect it to here, like you have the data, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So, so what are the filters? What is your experience with using different filters?
Yeah, the different filter is then there are the four types of multiple filters like depends on the visual. For example, only particular visual we want to use the like visual level filter. For example, we have the 4 pages, we want to in the single page all the visual we want to like interact, then that time then we need to have the page level filter. For example, if you want to we will put the one filter like it is a patient, which patient is the total patient, then we will apply the all page level filter, then that time it will affect to the all pages. So then it will filter when you filter in one page, then automatically it will reflect to the all the pages. So there are these type. Then one more is the like drill through filter. So for example, we have the some thousands of beds is full, so the which are the thousands of beds from which location, otherwise there are the multiple hospitals is there, so then in each location that is happened, so then we will create a one detailed page, then we will given the drill through on this detailed page into this user like in the tooltip, then we will go ahead and this one we filter, then we will apply the whatever the visual we go, then the right click we have the some of the like drill through option, then we go the those 1000, it is a how where we will get it. The different multiple options is there. There are the 4 types filters I used.
Okay. So what is the difference? Suppose we coming to DAX expressions, for example, you may have some X, right?
Yes, yes, some X.
Yeah. So how what is the difference here and how do we use it?
Yeah, for example, sum is using the only single column. For example, we want to calculate the total sum of like cost of the cost of the beds, each bed having that time, then in a single column we use it is a filter level contest. So when you using a sum x is, for example, I want to how many patients like how much insurance amount covered under which patient. So like then we will calculate in the 2 columns, then we will use the sum x. It is a row by row operation. If in a single column we will use the calculate, then that time then we use the sum. If you want to, then we use the like 2 multiple column, that time then we use the sum x. It is a filter level, a row level.
Okay. Have you used created any custom visuals?
Custom visual is like toggle button we used, and one the simple image visual. So actually only that time I have a work with a chance like we are showing the some names of the like equipments, then that time then we have the some of the equipments is the like the sophisticated equipments. So that time then we have created some equipments design, and then we download the simple image visual, and then we apply the simple image visual. Some of the query editor is there, so along with their query editor we have developed that one, and then we apply the query editor because of the Power BI does not understanding the visual that is the which equipment is there. So then we use it to like in the set and in option in the Power Query editor, we apply that one, and then we give the connection from this particular table to the whatever the equipment table, and then we use this one that is the equipment images. Whenever we click on the particular image, then it will show. I think long back we used it in that one visual in the particularly.
Okay. Okay, so like if you want to connect to some on-premise or offline data sources, how you can do that with Power BI? So I need a continuous refresh of data. It's not a one-time input.
No, I could not get you. The on-premises data?
So I have some offline data.
Okay.
So it can be a MS Access database and related to something. or some other data sources or some on-premise SQL server. Anyway, it is not an online data source. It is
Okay.
on-premise data source.
Okay.
So what I need is like I want to use that data in Power BI, but not a one-time import. I want the continuous refresh aspect. So,
Okay.
how we can perform it?
So that time then we need to like first we load the data. For example, it is a MS Access data. So after that we again get data from the other different sources. So that time it may ask Power BI suggested to it is a like other sources data source. Then if you want to connect and give the relationship, if the column is same, then they will give you some suggestion.
It is not other data sources. I'm talking about a single data source.
Okay, in single data sources, we need to connect is an on-premises data source. Then whenever we have the develop the report in the Power BI desktop, when we publish into the workspace, there we might we download the like gateways. So that is the on-premises gateway or the on-demand gateway and the personal gateway. So if you on-demand gateway, so then it will work on the particular system. If it is a running, then it will work. Otherwise, then it should not work. So then give the data set, go to the data set connection, and then go to the settings. There we have some of the gateway connections, particular gateway connection. Then we will run the gateway. We will connect that one particular data sources. Then we will give the scheduled refreshes there. If it is a pro license, it is a 8 refreshes available. It is a premium license, it is a 48 refreshes available based on the requirement.
Okay. Suppose like I have a ERP data source and my Power BI users don't have ERP license to access data. So how we proceed with that?
ERP data source.
Any other data source. Basically, the data is licensed. So each user requires a license to access data.
Okay.
So there is a different kind of service models are available, right? So it's not
Yes,
in
yes.
the So online the ERPs, the user-based licenses will be there. So if the user is having ERP license, then only they will be able to access the data.
Okay.
So, but if I'm coming to here, like ERP license is very costly, and my Power BI users not required that license. So how I can manage here? So like data must be available to Power BI users, so they can utilize the data for to build their own reports or to open current reports.
Okay, so that time I think we have to connect it with the credentials with the ERP data. So then we will use those credentials like the dev environment or the like each environment. So then we will connect with the data sources once. So once we have get the data in this Power BI, then we need to develop the report and then we might publish into the service like in the pro license or whatever. I think I haven't to like use that type of situation yet, so that is the reason I am not clear that one. So,
What I'm asking, like end user don't have access to the data source.
Okay, don't have access.
Because that required a license. End user is only having Power BI license.
Okay.
But this data, basically, like I say, connected data, require direct access. So they required a continuous refresh.
Okay.
So how we are going to manage this, and we want to make sure that data security also maintained. So how we configure it?
Yeah, actually that time then we used to some row level security. Then based on this security, then we will provide the user whichever you want to see. Then we will give that mention mail ID and then we give the access to the user. I think that is the one way. But some other way is there, but I might not sure that one, Rajesh.
Okay. So have you got an experience of leading a team or data engineering side? Have you got an experience?
Yeah, but I worked with like if then I chance to work with like using to the trainings to provide the trainings in the team and sometimes ETA operations. Some them that time then we used to give the some training sessions in the Power BI and as well some other the data. Whenever we are connecting with the other source people in the training session, then I might given the like trainings and as I'm a interview panelist, I am the panelist. I have conducted many of the interviews in my group, but I did not chance work with like engineering. So couple of like months ago, then the Azure Data Factory, when they introduced in the one more another project, actually when we are working in the some project, so they might KTs, I have prepared the PPT for that one because of I don't know the Azure at that time. After I have some trainings taken, after that I prepared the, so what is the source activity and what is the pipelines and everything. Then I have created a one PPT to produce them.
Okay. So have you ever about Azure Data Lake, Synapse Services, Data Factory and all?
Yeah, data factory, that's why just I know the little bit aware of the data factory and then Azure Synapse and how to like loading the data from their ETL operation, from extract, how to extract from the one storage account to the another storage account, how to pick the files. Those are the 100 types of files which we have, the some HR department, some other department files. When we pick those department files by using some pipelines in the Azure data factory.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. So that is from my side. Okay. So I will give you an update. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh. Very nice talking to you.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Swati. Have a nice day. Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Rajesh.
Yeah. It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.